In a perfect world, your parents are supposed to support, nurture, and keep you safe. When they fail on all three counts, it makes these stories even more devastating. Neglectful parents are one thing, but this story takes it to an insane extreme. Today, we'll take a look at what extreme neglect can do to the human body. Let's talk about the strange and sad death of Lacey Fletcher, the girl in the couch. Lacey Ellen Fletcher was born November 25, 1985, to parents Clay and Sheila Fletcher. Living in Slaughter, Louisiana, Lacey had a hard time in high school due to bullying and an autism diagnosis. When she was 14, her parents took her to a psychologist who diagnosed her with severe social anxiety. Due to all these issues with other students, Lacey's parents decided to pull her out of high school and continue her education at home. In 2010, they visited Lacey's doctor without her and explained that her cognitive function had begun to decline and she was becoming more immobile as well as mute. They claimed that she would refuse to leave the house and wouldn't even use the restroom, forcing them to leave a porta potty by her in the living room on the couch, where she spent all of her time. The doctor advised taking Lacey to the hospital, but the parents never followed up on this. This would be the last time Lacey's doctor would see her or her parents. People in the neighborhood would recall seeing Lacey in her early teens, but slowly they began to see less and less of her presence on the street until she vanished altogether. The years that followed, there was little talk of Lacey, as even a close friend of the Fletchers stated that in the 25 years they didn't even know that the couple had a daughter, despite weekly meetings. It was as if the parents wanted people to forget all about Lacey, and for many years, they succeeded. On January 3, 2022, Sheila called 911 and stated that they had found Lacey dead on their couch, and the police were dispatched to the home, only to find a scene of nightmares. While the house was mostly clean and organized, one specific area was unlivable. There, in the living room, not sitting on top of, but melted into the couch, was Lacey Fletcher. She was sunken into the cushions that were fused to her rotting skin. She was naked, covered in excrement, and slowly being eaten by maggots. How did this happen? Forensics determined that she had been living on that couch for 12 years. Pressure ulcers were all over her skin that led to bone infections. The bugs that infested her body had been there long before she was deceased, and years of waste had layered around her. Her official cause of death was deemed as sepsis due to multiple conditions like bone infections, extreme malnutrition, and immobility. She was also found to have had COVID-19 during her autopsy. Even more disturbing, her parents had recently gone on vacation and left the disabled girl alone. The autopsy had found some waste and couch cushion in her stomach, which showed that she tried to save herself from starvation in the last hours by eating her surroundings. Her parents were on the chopping block. It was determined that Lacey had been dead for 1 or 2 days before Sheila had decided to call 911. It seemed they were in no hurry to save their daughter's life or admit what they had done. The death was confirmed as a homicide, and investigators stated that they had trouble eating and sleeping after what they had witnessed that day. Sheila and Clay Fletcher were arrested on May of 2022 and charged with second-degree murder. They pled to have the sentence reduced to manslaughter, as it would not give them a life sentence. Only thinking of themselves, this worked to reduce their sentence to 20 years and 20 years following probation. District Attorney Judge Catherine Jones stated, "Of all the things I can say about this case, the one thing that keeps coming to mind is that Clay and Sheila Fletcher continually chose the path of least resistance when it came to the care of their daughter." The parents tried to claim that Lacey simply refused medical treatment, but that argument was thrown out by prosecutors due to the fact that Lacey was nonverbal and therefore could not refuse treatment. They tried to say she refused to get off the couch and use the bathroom, claiming that her social anxiety had ramped up to the point where she was afraid to move. They said the couch was her only comfort space, and so they let her stay there, even going on vacation and leaving her to fend for herself when she was unable to. The couple's attorney claimed that they loved Lacey and didn't wish her any harm, but how could that be when they had years upon years to see her deteriorating? It's sick, and they tried to say it was her fault, when in the end, it was clear she wanted to live. This story is so disturbing. To see the human body break down due to so much neglect is foul. Parents are supposed to take a bullet for their kids, but Clay and Sheila just wanted to not be blamed for this and forget their daughter even existed. Those 12 years must have been a slow, painful hell for Lacey. And if there's any positive takeaway from this, it's that her suffering is finally over. Thanks for watching. For more true crime and horror, please consider subscribing. Game with me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter, and as always, be well.